One mic.
All I need is one mic.
It's just different.
One mic with Big Mike.
The overall tenor of what he's saying is very stupid.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
Maybe it's not racism. Maybe it's placism.
Brother has to know his place, right, Bob?
One mic with Big Mike.
Things aren't always what they seem.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limit.
Don't just tell me that the reason something's being done is because that's the way it's always been done. Because the first thing I'm going to say to you is slavery.
And now, your host.
I got the big homie here who needs no introduction.
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic.
Yep. What up? It is the One Mic with Big Mike show here on an MLK Day. Do you say Happy MLK Day? I'll say it. Happy MLK Day to everybody. I'm being heard right now live on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, I think. And, of course, the website, onemicwithbigmike.com. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday starting at 7 o'clock. You guys can also see me do the show live on Facebook. My Facebook page is One Mic with Big Mike, the number one MIC, WITHBIGMIKE. And if you'd like to be a part of the show, do it in a couple of different ways. Make sure you're following me on Twitter and Instagram. I do a thing called hashtag Put It on the Poll. All during the show, I give out little poll questions. You guys can also participate in putting stuff on the poll. If you got an issue, just holler at me. Tweet at me. And then hashtag it with Put It on the Poll, and we'll see if the people want to help you out with your situation or whatnot. You can also text the show at 404-902-8104. You can leave your comments below the live streaming video here on Facebook, or you can jump inside the live interactive chat room like the homie Big L has already done. You do so by listening to the show on Spreaker or the Spreaker app or onemicwithbigmike.com, and you'll see a little thought bubble icon on the streaming player. Just click on that. And a couple steps later, bang, you're in the building, you're in the chat room. You can enjoy all the ignorance. You can contribute some ignorance yourself. You can also contribute some intellect. This show is lacking a lot of that, so you can interject some if you have any to spare. All right. So yeah, Monday, MLK Day. The homie Big L saying, "Yo, fam, what's up, Big Mike? I went 3-1. Damn, KC, you pick Kansas City." I don't know why I'm even talking about it. I don't do picks on this show, dude. It's a shot in the dark. Did you put money on it? Did you get some because some dude I think some dude put like a couple $100 on the Packers, and he's kind of just letting it ride. From the context, I guess that means just he keeps doubling down on it, and I think he's up to like $27,000 right now on the Packers. I think he put like $200-300 on it. So that's the only thing about picking games. You put your loot on it, and if you come out 3-1 like Big L said he did, I'm assuming you got some loot in your hands. Tonight we're double dipping on the guests. We rarely do this on a Monday too, where we double dip on the guests. But I decided, you know what? What the hell? Go for it. Of course, Troupe Talk at the bottom of the hour. My man, former SEC and NFL tight end Ben Troupe is going to join the show. We're going to chop it up about these football games over the weekend, as well as some others. I know Ben's probably going to want to say something about MLK Day as well. So, you know what I mean? We're going to let Ben give his take on Martin Luther the King Day. You ain't never met no Martin Luther the King? I have. He sat right here in this chair. Somebody tell Renee that's I'm not being disrespectful. That's actually another Coming to America bit there, just in case you're wondering, Renee. Speaking of black movies, I saw Hidden Figures this weekend. Yeah, I saw it on Friday. I told you guys I was going to see it with the old lady. I'll talk a little bit more about it as the show goes on. But I got another guest, which I was already alluding to. Will Leitch from Sports on Earth is going to join me at the top of the next hour. He wrote an article about the the pain and toil of the Atlanta fan, the Atlanta sports fan. I found it lightweight hilarious, but I also found it insightful as well. Some things even being from Atlanta that I never thought about as it pertains to why people act the way they do about these sports teams here. It's called The Plight of the Atlanta Sports Fans. Sports on Earth is where you can find it. So we'll talk to him at the top of the hour about that and a bunch of other things. As far as today's top stories, the headlines today, of course, we're down to the conference championships in the NFL. The Falcons won. Shout out to the Falcons and everybody who's down here losing their damn mind. Because every time the Falcons win is a whole new championship. It's like, we won the divisional round championship. Yay! The Patriots won, business as usual. The Packers won, and what was a very good game. You got to see some good quarterback playing. And look, somewhere around the middle of the season, this is why you don't supposed to listen to me. I'm a dummy. I was talking about, Aaron Rodgers, people making excuses for Aaron Rodgers and Andrew Luck. And, well, maybe I was only half wrong. No, Andrew Luck played a pretty good season. The team just sucked, but he played a pretty good season too. So, but yeah, man, that damn Aaron Rodgers. A couple years ago, I was on the other side of things. Like his kicker, I think, said something along the lines of Aaron Rodgers is the Michael Jordan of football right now. Because everything he does comes so easy, and I was like, yeah, I can see that. And I kind of caught some hell for that. But, from this point on, yeah, I don't care if Aaron Rodgers sucks balls next year. I'm not betting against. I'm not talking against Aaron Rodgers, man. This dude is a monster at the quarterback position. So we'll get into that a little bit more tonight. The story that's not a story, really. This Antonio Brown thing, him being on Facebook Live. It's just something more for ESPN to be like, here's the thing, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to end mine. If the entire country can write off grabbing pussy as locker room talk, well, then I invite you to write off actual locker room talk as locker room talk. Can I do that? Can I just end mine on that? You know what I mean? Oh, Mike Tomlin, I think the headline was like, Mike Tomlinson uses expletives. So what? So what? Have you ever watched a football game and one of them dudes get too close to the boom mic and you hear every cuss word that's being said on the football field? Yeah, move on. Got some good basketball tonight in about an hour here. Got the Cavs and the Warriors. I'll take that every time. Every time there was like a rumor that that Kyrie and Kevin Love and LeBron weren't gonna play tonight. I was like, come on, don't mess with your boy. I can't do that now. Hopefully Steph has a good game. I don't care who wins or loses. I just want everybody to play well. All the stars to play well. And everybody who's supposed to be getting buckets, get buckets. And then however it shakes out, it shakes out. I don't really have a rooting interest in it. I just want to see this good, awesome basketball that's about to be played tonight. Today, Monday, marks the first of the last days, leading into the last days in the White House. Yep, the prayers getting ready to wrap it up Friday. I was talking to my wife yesterday about this whole the orange ghoul. Oh my gosh. Oh God. And you see what the Cubs did. And I said this the other week before I heard that they actually did move their trip to the White House up. Cause ain't nobody trying to mess with this Donald Trump situation, man. Ain't nobody trying to even deal with this on no levels, man. First one, Renee, of the day. Hashtag put it on the poll. Would you be okay with your favorite team, the team you root for, going to the Trump White House after winning a championship? Because ain't no more Obama. You got to go deal with the orange ghoul now. Hashtag put it on the poll is brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. Make sure you go ahead and check out my homie Rob Calloway's website. Over there, get all your news, your black news, and your information on craft beers. Every time I hear craft beers, I think about the dude that said he was really a white dude. He identifies as a white dude on Atlanta. What's your favorite craft beer? So yeah, would you be okay with your team going to the Trump White House, to the White House with Trump in it, however you want to word it, after winning a championship? Just yes or no. Yes or no. Period. Shout out to the Grim Reaper too. This weekend. Shout out to let me get my hand clap ready. Yeah, but shout out to the damn Grim Reaper. Infamous butt banded turd burglar fake ass preacher Eddie Long bit the dust today. I guess it was prostate, colon cancer, something ate his ass up and he's gone. So shout out to the Grim Reaper getting 2017 off to a good start. Y'all wanted to blame 2016 for everything, the Prince stuff and whoever else, Boy George. Yeah, 2017 got one right. I already mentioned, man, MLK Day. What did y'all do on MLK Day? We can put that up too, Renee. I don't know. It's not really a poll question, but we can just put it up. What did people do on MLK Day? I walked outside today. Cats was out here barbecuing and whatnot. Bo Jackson said every kid needs to go to the African American Museum, or have to sit down and watch documentaries and not watch TV and play video games today. That's what Bo Jackson said. So I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, that is a tragedy, isn't it, Renee? George Michael still alive, Boy George gone, or other way around. It's one of them days, man. I feel kind of giddy today. I ain't really get a lot of sleep this weekend. My computer, man, the last 2 nights, the show was in danger of not happening because my computer got a virus on it. I was up late. I wasn't watching porn though. I will admit to that. I go to classy porn sites, by the way. I wasn't watching porn. I was trying to. There was a product missing from my video editing software, so I went to go get it and didn't realize what I was clicking on, and then bang, mess around, download a damn virus on my computer, and then had to work all day up till 4:00 in the morning the last 2 nights getting it off. So everything's a go. We're all set and ready to do this bad show tonight. Let me give you guys the poll questions from the other day. I'm not gonna give you all of them, but just a couple of the poll questions that we left off with on what was that, Friday the 13th. I ain't even mention that because I truly don't care about any of that foolishness. But Friday the 13th actually is an historical date, but just one terribly bad thing happened on Friday the 13th. It had really nothing to do with luck, but something real horrible happened. All right, first poll question that we left off with on Friday, brought to us, our hashtag put it on the poll, brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. If your team wanted a new stadium, but it would raise your taxes, would you A, pay the tax, or B, don't pay the tax and let them leave? 60% of you D-bags said pay the tax. I guess. As soon as somebody start hollering out one more penny for education, though, Cass is all up in the city hall like, man, F that. A penny? Shh, I need mine. Need my brown boys. Yeah, the damn, your bad football team about to leave or your bad basketball team leaving. It's like, all right, that's worth it. My kid can stay dumb, but yeah, I got to go out and cheer for this bad team on Sundays and during the week if it's basketball or whatever. Sweet. Which NFL playoff game is most likely to have an upset this weekend? 50% of you said the Packers and the Cowboys. 17% said the Texans and the Patriots. 33% said the Steelers and the Chiefs. And if you're doing the math, that would mean 0% said the Seahawks and the Falcons. Come on, B. Can you tell who the people who listen to my show are all about? Not the damn Seahawks. Ain't no damn chance. Really? Shout out to the Falcons, man. You got one more week, man, of trepidation. And we're going to talk to Will Leitch about it at the top of the next hour, about all this trepidation that goes on with Atlanta sports fans. It's a hilarious thing if you're not from here. And I want to know from him, because he's a national writer. I want to know from him because I always say I think it's unique to this market. We'll find out at the top of the next hour. Will Leitch Sports on Earth.com. Could you have been a head coach of a pro team, NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, etc., at the age of 30? Yeah, of course. 100% say yes. Yeah, man, half y'all can't even change the oil on a car. How you gonna run a whole franchise? You know, how you gonna lead a group of men? Hell out of here, man. I don't know what one has to do with the other, but it just seems like that's a thing. Like if you can't change oil, you can't pull a plug out and drain some liquid out of a car, you can't head coach anything, from little league to the pros. Period. All right, this is the One Mic with Big Mike show here. Here being Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. Tune in, I hope. And, of course, OneMicWithBigMike.com. Make sure you guys head on over to the website. Like my Facebook page. Also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All three at the same damn, what's the word, handle, at One Mic with Big Mike. Also, I want to make sure you know that the show is also available on demand. All my shows are available on demand if you ever get a chance to miss them. And not get a chance to miss them. If you ever miss them, you get a chance to go back and check them out on Spreaker, the app, tune in, OneMicWithBigMike.com, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. Please subscribe to the iTunes and to the YouTube as well. And make sure you like the iHeartRadio and whatever it allows you to do with the other ones. Do all that stuff. All right. So football this weekend. For the most part, not even for the most part. the games were all right. The games were decent. You know, I mean, Brock Osweiler had to be there. You know what I mean? Like, he had to be there, so you had to deal with that. But the team as a whole, that Texan squad, they didn't really crap the bed. They gave up a big play to the kid Dion Lewis on special teams, and he was a monster on Saturday. But other than that, you know, I think it was cool. Tom Brady made a few mistakes that he's gonna have to clean up going into, or with Pittsburgh coming in next week. But for the most part, it wasn't one of those things where I was like, man, it's the second half. Wonder what's on Netflix. Nah, I watched it for the most part. You know what I mean? I watched that and was watching my computer, and you know the routine if it ain't really captivating. Then on Sunday, the Kansas City Chiefs game and the Steelers game was moved back to 8:20 because they had like an ice storm rolling in. My folks here in Atlanta know all about that life. Can't get around, can't do nothing. Cars just getting off the road. I don't know if it was that bad up there, but they had to move the game back to 8:20, which made the Dallas Cowboys and the Packers game the first game of the day. Which that would have been well served to be the final game, the one you just like, you know, just ingested and went away with. But the Chiefs game wasn't bad. I'll talk about it here in just a second. But that Packers Cowboys game, a couple things I want to mention to y'all. In full disclosure, I used to proclaim myself a Cowboys fan. A couple years ago, I kind of was like, you know what, I'm done with this situation, the whole fan thing, for a lot of different reasons. The main one though, I think Jason Garrett is an empty suit. I think that dude is in a very, very fortunate situation with all this young talent and this young quarterback, and he can take no responsibility for any of it. You know what I mean? I truly, truly believe that. And it showed up yesterday. It sure as hell did. Him with that timeout late, trying to keep it in his pocket, and it actually ended up staying in his damn pocket. I mean, freezing the kicker, you weren't planning on that, dude. You gave up an opportunity, or you gave up the opportunity to take 3 shots at getting 10 yards. You reduced it to 2 shots to get 10 yards, and then it didn't happen. I mean, that's like a simple thing. You threw a pass to the tight end, so that's 9-10 yards. You can quickly, if you are thinking ahead, call 2 plays in the huddle. Jason Witten gets tackled. You go up to the line. It takes you another, 12 seconds or so to run the next play, complete or incomplete. Then you can start talking about timeouts then. But the last thing you want to do, like in any way, and this is not me being like the hindsight is 2020 guy. At the time, I was like, look how much time left. Why are you taking time out? Cause I'm sitting there watching the game with my old lady saying this. Because at the very end of the day, what you want to do is have the game end with your strongest asset on the football field. Your strongest and their weakest, which would be your offensive line, your young rookie quarterback, and your running back, your wide receiver. That's the strength of your team. You want to end the game with them on the field. You ain't the 2000 Baltimore Ravens or whatever, 2005 Baltimore Ravens. The Seattle Seahawks from a couple years ago. You're not that. And it played out that exact way. You out there with the Cowboys defense and the hottest quarterback in the league. Of course you're going to lose, man. You know what I mean? In some way, shape, or form, you deserve to lose. Like I'm not like my man Big L. I'm not Nostradamus or Negrodamus. But you deserve to lose if that happens to you. Yeah, and then I was reading today, there was a couple other mistakes that were made too. And people were pointing to the fact that the 2 kids, Dak and Zeke, were cool, calm, and collect. They did their thing. 300 yards passed, about $125 rushing. They did their thing. It was the coaching. They got that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty when they didn't know who to put in the game, if it was Cole Beasley or the other kid. And then apparently there's some rule about you can't go in and not play it down and have the other dude go back in. Some weird rule like that to keep you from disguising your packages. Yeah, to keep you from disguising your package. So that was a coaching mistake at the end of the half. I've only seen this happen one time. There's such thing as a fair catch free kick, whereas at the end of a half with time expiring, if the punt returner calls for a fair catch, the other team can attempt a field goal from that spot without any rush. So there's no chance of a block or any of those type of situations. And the field goal would have been 73 yards, right? But hell, why not? You down by 8. You getting free points. I think I saw, I think it was Andy Reid that did that some years ago, and that's where I know this from. It's not something that I'm just making up or something that I had to read to know it happened. I saw it happen, and I think it was Andy Reid maybe about 6-7 years ago. Pulled the same situation, but apparently Jason Garrett didn't know it. That's what he's supposed to be doing. He ain't calling no plays no more. It's Scott Linehan doing that, so he ain't doing nothing but being over there, being a little ginger cheerleader. Yeah, he's an empty suit, man. And this team, that team, no shot. No shot with him at the quarterback. Now it's time to think about like where they go. And I'm going to talk to my man, Ben. Ben Troupe is going to join me at the bottom of the hour. And we're going to talk about this Tony Romo situation because apparently Tony Romo wants to go to Denver. Jerry Jones, Adam Schefter saying they're going to take care of him. They're going to look out for him, not send him to some, crazy, crappy team, Browns, Jets, or something like that. And they're going to try to work with him and get something for him. But for my money, it's like, I don't know that you necessarily, I'm not paying nothing for Tony Romo. And I've been a Tony Romo defender for the longest while. I think he's a good quarterback when he's healthy. But I have this philosophy that if I say that about you, because people say it about Percy Harvin all the time. Man, Percy Harvin's a weapon when he's healthy. I can't rock with you then. You know what I mean? Like, that's something that should already come with the package. Your health. So if I got to just wait for you to do your gig, like with Seattle a couple years ago, they had to wait till the Super Bowl for this dude to come back to the team and do something. And it didn't even matter because they killed whoever it was. I can't even remember who they were playing. Yeah, I can't rock with you. So that's where Tony Romo is right now. His career now is based upon not even his ability anymore to play the position. It's based on him as a quarterback. Or his health, excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not. Cut him because they're going to have to. He's gonna hit him in the cap for like $25 million. If you want him, cut him. See if you can give him the best deal out of anybody else, but not trading for him where you giving up stuff and you got to pay him. I think I'm kind of good on that whole situation. You know the other thing I thought about with this game, and I think about this all the time with the NFL, a game like this is the reason that you don't ascribe wins and losses to quarterbacks. Like the starting pitchers in Major League Baseball. Because think about this. That kick at the end of the game, if it curves one way versus the other one, the game goes into overtime and the Cowboys win, does it make what Aaron Rodgers did any less spectacular? You say, well, Aaron Rodgers, another playoff loss. Really? I'd probably say that defense lost the game. Like, start calling Clay Matthews and call Julius Peppers and them kids. And the same thing goes for the Cowboys. I already mentioned Dez, over 100. Zeke, 125. Dak, 300 and a couple touches. Yeah, that's pretty good football. That's pretty good damn football. You didn't lose that game. Aaron Rodgers, he willed his team and won that football game. But this whole notion of wins and losses to quarterbacks. Now, I'll talk to Will Leitch from Sports on Earth at the top of the hour. That's one of the things I want to talk to him about. Like, the whole theory of ascribing a win or a loss, or this person has a playoff record of this or that and the other, as though their success isn't controlled by another 21 people, another 10 on offense, another 11 on defense. It's just I truly in my heart of hearts believe that that's one of those ESPN creations that everybody just happens to run with now, and it's so ridiculously stupid. So anyway, the other game I wanted to talk about before I go to break here in a couple minutes, the Chiefs and the Steelers. This game is exactly why. It's exactly why every time Alex Smith is forced to be on my television, I talk bad about the dude. It's not because I think he's some sort of bum quarterback, but like I don't want to see that. I don't want to see people throwing the ball for 4 or 5 yards at a time. Methodical drive, stalling out in the red zone. Because that's what ended up biting. How the hell somebody kick 6 field goals and beat you? Like, if I'm their defense, that's what I'm wondering. If I'm Justin Houston and them kids and Marcus Peters, I'm like, how the hell does that happen? We doing for people who don't understand, or who listen to a lot of sports talk, they hear stuff about the number one ranked defense. The Texans were the number one ranked defense because they gave up the fewest amount of yardage. That's crazy. That's crappy. To me, and the way I've been taught, is that defense is measured on points scored, keeping the other team out of the end zone at all costs. For years, that has been the mantra of teams like the Seattle Seahawks, All that stuff you marching up and down the field, who gives a damn? You got to get in the end zone. The number one team in that category, I think, ended up being the New England Patriots, if I'm not mistaken. And then you saw on Saturday night or Sunday night, the Chiefs playing some good damn defense as far as keeping teams out of the end zone. Field goal. That is supposed to give your squad a chance to win. And then when it boils down to your man crying about an obvious hold, this kid Eric Fisher pulling James Harrison down. But by the way, if y'all follow, I don't think I follow James Harrison on Instagram, but I see all his videos some kind of way. When I'm doing my reading during the day, this dude got off the plane and went straight to the weight room. Like, come on, James, at some point. You know what I mean? Like, the Al Jazeera stuff came out, and I mean, he already said that he knows why he gets tested all the time. But, my man, damn, B. Like, how wide do your back need to be? But the dude's 38 years old, man, still putting in crazy, crazy work. But no, like, when we start talking about, driving up and down the field on people and not scoring touchdowns, that's a recipe for your offense to win ball games. James Harrison, as I mentioned, just got held at the end of the game. Travis Kelce lost his entire stuff about it. To what extent? Like, I'm glad. Think about what we got now. We got the 4 best quarterbacks probably in the league, or probably the best case scenario at least, in the Final 4. I'm all the way live with that. You got Ben, you got Matt, you got Tom, you got Aaron. Here it is. Hashtag put it on the poll, Renee. Put this on the poll. Hashtag. You got 80 yards to go, 90 seconds on the clock, and 1 timeout, and you need a touchdown to win. Which quarterback you going with? Ben, Brady, who did I say? Matt, or A-Rod? Hashtag put it on the poll, brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. Did I already mention that Falcons game? I didn't, did I? This whole time, I only got a couple minutes left in the segment, but that's cool because I'll definitely talk about this game, the Falcons-Seahawks game, with Ben Troupe during Troupe Talk next segment. I felt like this game was closer, or I felt like the score was closer than the game actually was. It ended up being a 2-possession game when it was all said and done, but it just felt like, and I know Doug Baldwin got that touchdown late, but it just felt like the Falcons were in such control of this game. I was lightweight impressed, and I guess you got to still inject the caveat, the Earl Thomas caveat there. Just came out today, of course. I don't know if you guys saw this, that Richard Sherman during the season had knee surgery, and the team didn't disclose it. That's a them problem, though. Like, you on the field, you got that. Okay, your team know you had that, and the only thing with that is the league is going to have a problem with them not disclosing his injury and still having him on the practice field, or not practicing, but then saying it wasn't an injury. It wasn't a day off for injury on the injury report. So yeah, that's a them problem. I think the Falcons, they played a very patient game, especially early on, because it felt as though Seattle was just saying, all right, we're going to let you catch the ball in front of us, probably try to get our hands on some footballs, and then get some interceptions or some turnovers that way. And Matt was just like a damn surgeon with a scalpel, because Matt Ryan was playing. He played, again, I've been talking about this all season. This kid played a perfect game. You always, there is that trepidation, though. It has to be there. That what happens when he doesn't, because we've seen like 2 or 3 games this year where he didn't play perfect, and the defense couldn't get you the stops that you needed in order to make up the difference when he didn't play perfect football. And now the competition, of course, is getting stiffer. Hey, look, I don't think the thing that plays best in the Falcons' favor is that none of these 4 teams got a defense that you like, oh my God, what are you going to do against this defense? None of them have one of those. So it kind of, everything kind of leans to the favor of the guys like the Aaron Rodgerses, the everybody, all the quarterbacks. What am I saying? All of the quarterbacks. And we'll get the poll results by the end of the show, and we'll figure out who you guys would want to take your team down the field for a game-winning touchdown. So we're going to take a break here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. MLK Day here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. No goofy Martin Luther King drops or any of that stuff. Just me. One Mic with Big Mike on Spreaker, on onemicwithbigmike.com. You guys can jump on into the live interactive chat room anytime you please by clicking on that little thought bubble icon you see on the streaming player. You can also text the show at 404-902-8104, or please feel free to leave your comments below the live streaming video going on right now on the Facebook page, which is One Mic, the number one, MICWITHBIGMIKE. So coming up next, we'll do a little Troupe Talk with the big homie, Ben Troupe.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzzed driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You could kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And now, back to One Mic.
What are we waiting for? Let's get to it.
With Big Mike.
Hey, welcome back. Monday, MLK Monday here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Heard live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday right here on Spreaker.com. The Spreaker app for all your mobile devices. Make sure you guys are signing up for your free Spreaker accounts. And once you do that, search for One Mic with Big Mike and then give me a follow on there. You can also hear the show on the website, onemicwithbigmike.com. I'm also on demand on all those outlets, as well as on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. The live video stream is going on right now on Facebook at the number one, MICWITHBIGMIKE. So make sure you guys head on over there and check out the old ugly mug here on Facebook. And give me a like as well, too. Do all that kind of stuff. All right, stop now. Stop the music. All right, it's that time of the show. It's Monday. We break down the football from over the weekend, and no better human being to do it with than my big homie out of the SEC and out of the NFL. He is Ben Troupe.
It's time for Troupe Talk.
What you talking about?
We're talking NFL and college football with former NFL and SEC tight end Ben Troupe.
Ben Troupe at the 15, at the 10, hurdles a man, spins to the 5. Oh my, still on his feet, still pounding to the goal line. He's gonna score! He's gonna score!
Troupe Talk.
We heading to the top if you come on.
On One Mic with Big Mike.
Yes, indeed. Ben. It's been quite a week, man. You know what I just thought about today? I was like, it feels like that national championship game was so long ago. And then it felt like I'd already talked to you about it because we had text back and forth about some things. And I'm like, damn. I talk about all this NFL football, but I hadn't been on the record about the national championship game. Of course, we talked about Jalen Hurts and where his progression is going to be, but we talked about the other teams that are going to be probably in the mix: the Penn States, the Ohio States, the Michigans, the Florida States, the Washingtons, the USCs. All these teams that will probably be in the mix next year as far as the national championship picture goes. But real quickly though, give us your final synopsis of the national championship game that we saw on Monday or last Monday.
Well worth the wait. I mean, it lived up to the billing. I mean, the fact that Deshaun Watson was able to go out there and have another performance like he did a year prior, and true indeed, yeah, it was a tale of two. It was a tale of two halves. Make no mistake about it. I mean, the first half compared to the second half was definitely a blur. But when you look at the stat sheet and somebody says the Clemson offense played 90, they ran 99 plays.
Yeah,
even
man.
if you are one of the greatest defenses of all time, natural human beings, they get tired. Deshaun Watson obviously he was the best player on the field offensively, but he was the most well conditioned too. Mike Williams, all the catches was contested. He showed why he's the number one receiver coming out. Renfro did his thing, but I just think it was a collective effort. But I think Clemson got Alabama to do something that only they could do, and they got them to play Clemson football. Because usually Alabama make you play their style of football, but you get them running up and down the field, man. It's just like once that second half, especially that fourth quarter, it's like nothing I ain't never seen before, man. I mean, the Vince Youngs of the world who had a great performance. I never thought I would see something like it, but Deshaun Watson, man, he's definitely up there.
He's Ben Troupe, former NFL and SEC tight end. Make sure you guys are following him on social media at BenTroupe84 and check out the website, BenTroupe84.com. What you do for MLK Day, man? Anything special?
Man, I just sat back with the fam. It was funny. My daughter, man, she's 5 years old, man. These kids, they're so advanced. I said, what the day is? She's like, it's MLK Day. She said, it's Martin Luther King. I said, so you know who that was? And she was telling me, yeah. She said, Martin Luther King, she was telling me how.
All circuits are busy.
Uh-oh.
Please try your call again later. Announcement 8 switch 329-6.
All right, hold on. The damn operator lady just had to cut in, didn't she? Let me try to get my guy back. He's talking. See, you see what's going on. Yeah, them damn feds watching. As soon as my man start talking about Dr. Martin Luther the King, gone. The hell is this about? See if I can get him back here. Yeah, man. Yeah, look, dude. I don't know what's going on with your phone, dog. But I don't know if you done said something to piss off Donald Trump. But as soon as you start talking about the king, the phone just cut off.
Hey, I was just saying that. I said Donald Trump. He done got in good with the wireless network.
Right.
But you know what? I mean, it's just my daughter was telling me about back in the day when white people and black people had white water fountains and color water fountains.
Yeah.
Like, here it is, a 5-year-old, but she said she understood that. She said the Martin Luther King Jr., she said he loved all people. Like she kept saying, like he just loved everybody. She said that's how you're supposed to be, Daddy. You're supposed to just love everybody. Now here's a 5-year. We can learn something from this child, even though we're a long way from loving one another.
Yeah.
It was definitely, she definitely opened her daddy's eyes today.
Shout out to the babies, man. I was reading something last week. Have you heard about this league that's they're trying to jump off, the Pacific Pro League? They're trying to jump off in 2018. Have you heard about this?
Is that the Ice Cube League?
No. This is football. They're starting a league with like 4 teams out in California, and it's got a bunch of like heavy hitters behind it too, like Mike Pereira, I was about to say Christian McCaffrey's daddy, Ed McCaffrey. Ed McCaffrey's behind it. Tom Brady's agent is behind it. It's like a lot of heavy hitters, and what it is, it's supposed to serve as a alternative to college, since you can't just go from high school to college, and some kids either don't want to go, or can't go to college, or even if a kid may get in trouble in college and doesn't want to go to junior college, they just want to play football. There's salaries attached to it, a minimum $50,000 salary across the board, year-round training. And it seems to be a good thing. I reached out to one of my folks who played with Ed McCaffrey to see if I can get him on the show, but I wanted to throw it at you too and see what you thought of that, because it's like 18 to 21-year-olds. You can't be like some 35-year-olds still having an NFL dream, but it's for 18 to 21-year-olds. And if you, just like in the NBA, you can go overseas, right? Just like in Major League Baseball, you go to the minor leagues. Football don't have that. They use college as their minor leagues. These folks are saying, nah, we're going to give you at least not a competition with college, but another alternative for kids that, like Ty Gurley. He want to send money home to his mama. He signed a couple jerseys. Exactly. He gets suspended. Now you can go make $50,000 and help mom out while you prepare. And they got I'm talking about real NFL dudes training you. This ain't like, like me volunteering to being a coach. It's dudes from the league that's going to be training these dudes to be in the NFL. So what are your thoughts on that before we move on to the playoffs this weekend?
I love it. I mean, one thing, and anybody that know me knows this, I can't stand amateurism. I can't stand the fact that.
Say that.
I can't listen. And people always say, well, being one, I said, because amateurism is another way of saying I'm going to keep you at a certain level.
Right.
I can control everything you do. What this is doing is telling people, listen, if Nick Saban comes to your house, you ain't an amateur. If Dabo Swinney's sitting in your living room, you ain't an amateur. But what I do like is this. I like the fact that they saying, listen, not only are we going to train you, we're going to put a little money in your pocket. We're going to have you ready to go for NFL teams. That way, if you do want to, your dreams are still out there. I love it, man. I mean, it kind of reminds me of the Atlanta Sports Academy, way out there in Duluth, Georgia. They do things just like that, man. But I like the fact that Listen, if NFL players are standing behind it, forget owners. If NFL players are standing behind it, because they're the true barometer. If something really works, hey man, I'm all for it, man. And like I said, whatever got started in California, you know it's coming to Georgia. You already know it's coming.
It's a ways away because they're still working on the financing and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, they got some big names behind it. They're gonna put it's gonna be 4 teams, and they're gonna basically play each other. And while they're doing that, still train as though they were training on NFL squads. I think it's a wonderful concept, and hopefully it eventually does get some legs. All right, so this weekend, let's see where I want to start. You know what? Let's start right here in the A. Let's start with the Atlanta Falcons. The first thing I want to ask you, because last week we talked, and you kind of dropped one on me when you said Derek Carr was your MVP. Your boy, you know what I mean? Matthew came out there on Saturday. Hey, have you changed any? Have you flipped script any after seeing Matt on Saturday?
Listen. I'm gonna have to. If I had to do it, listen. I saw 2 incredible performances.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
Matt Ryan, man. Matty just. I mean, when people talk about the full arsenal of everything you do,
was nice,
everything was on display with that offense.
It was nice.
I mean, from both running backs was on display. Gabriel, Sanu, Julio gonna be Julio. Everybody played a part. It's almost like. At one point, you're saying to yourself, they ain't playing the Seattle Seahawks, right? Like, Earl Thomas is not that big. I mean, is it that big of a weakness in that set? So, but then I turned to Green Bay. And listen, that freaking throw.
Yeah, that was
freaking throw on 3rd and 25.
Yeah, that was like
the degree
magical.
of difficulty. Listen, and the thing about this is, the people need to stop saying things like they can make any throw. Yes, but can they complete it?
Yeah.
The thing about Aaron Rodgers is he's a right-handed quarterback. Yeah, the man is rolling to the left. He's rolling to the left. He's actually rolling to the left sideline. He got to throw a deep over the head, Byron Scott. And oh my God, listen. If you took Matt Ryan, it's one of those things where if you took Matt Ryan and Aaron Rodgers, you said eeny, meeny, miny, mo, whoever landed on, I can live with it. Yeah. I can live with either or, because I think Matty deserves it only because he's put himself up there in that class this year. I mean, because it's for Aaron Rodgers already got one. And once you win an MVP, you ain't playing for MVPs no more. You playing for Super Bowls. So I don't think Aaron Rodgers cares about the MVP. He wants that Lombardi.
Well, why you saying that? The one thing about what's going on now, think about the quarterbacks we got, Ben. We got Ben, we got Brady, we got Aaron, and we got Matt. Even in that company, Matt is still the but guy. You know what I mean? Just like you just said it, as a matter of fact. He's the but guy. Yeah, Matt had a good season. He's going to have an MVP type season. But these other cats got them rings on their fingers. Ben got a couple. Tom got too many. And Aaron got one. The only one that ain't got one is Matt. So, I think you're right. Like, until he gets to that, he's still going to be that but guy, especially amongst the group of the greats. Let me ask you this, though.
Yeah.
When it comes to this team, who beats them? Like, you talked about all the weapons. Like, who beats them? And I look at what happened with the Cowboys last night, and I figure it has to be a situation like that, doesn't it? Like, you just go back and forth, and you need your defense to make a stop, and they can't make it.
Yeah. Green Bay is the most dangerous team in the playoffs right now because, like you say, Atlanta's been doing it consistently all year. Mm-hmm. And the thing about Green Bay is they had to go on a run to even make it in because it came down to them and Detroit.
Like 7 straight now.
This and the third. And the thing about it is Aaron Rodgers, if Julio doesn't play on Saturday and Gabriel has to be the man, does the game go the same way? I don't know because they featured Julio. Mm-hmm. Well, Jordan Nelson ain't even playing right now, and you can't even tell.
That's crazy.
You can't even tell that there's number one receiver because Aaron Rodgers can make his teammates elevate their game. Devontae Freeman and those boys out there, So what I think is the last thing Atlanta want to do is to get in a shootout. And the reason why they don't want to get in a shootout is because Green Bay defense can come up with a play. Atlanta's defense ain't never been this deep into their performance this weekend, but they're going to have to come out, they're going to have to come out, man, with all hands on deck because number 12, oh my God!
Yeah, and see,
this dude, it's crazy.
The dangerous thing about the team as it's constructed, and I was talking about this in the first segment, that Matt Ryan has played pretty much perfect football this season, and last Saturday was a perfect football game. No interceptions. He didn't get a ball away. He completed a high percentage of his passes. That was perfect football, and it feels like just like what you said, the games that he doesn't play perfect. What are you going to get from the other aspects of the team, the special teams aspect, from the defensive aspect? I'm speaking right now to Ben Troupe. We do it every Monday. It's called Troupe Talk here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Follow my man Ben on Twitter and Instagram at BENTROUPE 84. Sorry, PE 84. Looks like Shanahan may be staying. There's one gig open. And they got their eye on him. That they San Francisco has made it very plain and clear. They have their eye on him. But I talked to D. Orlando Ledbetter last week, and he said to me, "Mike, I'm not sure what you're saying," because I was telling him I think the dude is gone. Me and you talked about it.
I think he's gone. I think Kyle Shanahan is gone. I think he's definitely earned.
Well, let me tell you what D. Orlando said. That he says, being in the facility, that he doesn't get the feeling like this dude is going to rush to make his first job a bad one, that he feels like he can hold on. With that being said, the other thing that he said is, with that being the case, he feels like this team right now, and I'm asking you this team right now is constructed to be in one of those kind of Seattle Seahawks type windows where you can see it making like a 5-year window of opportunities to win championships. Do you see it that same way?
I don't know about a 5-year window, because the thing about the NFC South, man, it's so up and down. Atlanta is a year removed from one of their worst seasons. They're able to do what they're doing this year, but the thing is the thing about the offense has never been the problem. In Atlanta, it's never been a problem. Even with the years of Michael Vick and Warwick Dunn, those guys are having that running game with Algie Crumpler. Can that defense sustain it? And see, the thing about it is Carolina gonna look like they look this year? Who knows? I mean, Tampa Bay, they got a stud quarterback, and they're a couple of players away. So I can understand what Kyle Shanahan is saying, this, that, and the third. But to really go on a run in the NFC, it's a lot harder because the competition, man, is stiff. It ain't like in the AFC to where you got the upper echelon and it's a big drop-off.
Yeah.
So I think they got a shot to be a good team. 5-year run, that's dynasty talk.
The thing about what we're talking about, though,
gonna be that.
Look how young they are in the backfield. They got two young the only age is really what we're talking about is Matt and Julio. Levine Toilolo is pretty young. The two corners are young. Trufant and Alfred, he just re-upped. Those two linebackers are young. Vic Beasley's young. They're going to have to get some more help on the other end, of course, and up the middle. But for the most part, man, that's Keanu Neal. How can I forget about him? The first-round pick from last year. Yeah. They pretty young and pretty athletic, you know what I mean, across the board now.
They got a shot.
Yeah, the thing you talk about is experience now. They need experience on that defensive side of the football, but I heard D. Orlando say that last week, and I was like, damn, really? Like, I'm thinking you heard me say it last week. I'm thinking, like, this is like a one-and-done type shot. Get to the Super Bowl this year or not at all. And my man, he covers the team every day. So I trust him.
And the thing about what make it dangerous is the type of stuff Aaron Rodgers does. See, a team like Atlanta, it's one of those, we got to see it to believe it. We from Missouri. It's like Atlanta, Missouri at this point. You got to show us. Because the thing about Matty Ice is, Matty Ice has just as much pressure as these other quarterbacks, but the problem is, what if he doesn't play? See, this thing, like you say, if he doesn't play his best game, can they still win? And I don't think they can. See, and that's what makes Atlanta that not.
But you know what? I said the same thing about Green Bay, though. That's the same position Green Bay is in. He has to play perfect as well. He has to make that throw. He has to make that throw for them to beat the Dallas Cowboys by 3 points, man. You know what I mean?
And to me, that's the difference in Aaron Rodgers and any other player in the NFL. See, Aaron Rodgers, 35 seconds, right? 35 seconds left, one timeout. If Atlanta does give it a hump, do you feel confident with any two of those teams out of Pittsburgh and New England? Because they're going to have a plan. See, Matty Ice right now going out there against teams like Seattle that feel as though our defense is good enough to stop, but there's too many players to stop. You can't stop everybody. Mm-hmm. But you go up against a team like Mike Tomlin team that snuck in, and a Bill Belichick, they got 2 weeks to plan, man. Might get exposed. I'll say this: I like the Falcons' chance. I don't really see a upper echelon team. Let's talk about that game. We've been talking about Aaron Rodgers a little bit in and out here. There's one thing that I saw yesterday, and I said something about it because I believe in my heart of heart that Jason Garrett is an empty suit. He has no business on the NFL sideline, but he's just there to be a cheerleader and a puppet. Here's the deal, though: when he called that timeout in that last drive, the first thing I said was,
You just wasted a down, and then if you don't get, now you have 2 shots on getting 10 yards, and if you don't get it, what you're doing is you're putting their strength back on the field, taking your strength off the field, and putting your weakness, which is your defense, on the field, and asking them to close out a game against that guy.
Yes.
Of course you're supposed to lose. I don't know if the dude's going to hit the field goal or not, but Ben, he was supposed to lose that game, was he not?
He was. And the thing about Jason Garrett that I don't get, you would think Jason Garrett is only coached. You wouldn't even know that he played.
Yeah, empty suit, dude.
Some of the stuff he does.
Empty suit.
And you think to yourself, dude, you've been around the game too long to be panicking. Like, listen. A head coach is supposed to make cool, common sense decisions. And Jason Garrett can't do it.
He's too busy on the chili.
And the thing about it is, Jason Garrett, yes, he's only been fully coaching about 6-7 years. Yeah, I get it. But just like a Tony Romo, I think you've shown us the best you can do. You've shown us the best coaching you can do. And I just think, like you say, Jerry Jones is 70-some years old, man. His window is closing just in life.
Right. Right, on
period.
earth.
I mean, exactly. So the thing about this is, you got to make the best decision for your team. And I think Jason Garrett, in my opinion, crunch time, can he make the right decision? And yesterday showed that. No. You got 2 rookies. You got 2 rookies that make better decisions than you do.
What you saying? Dude, there was a couple times that unsportsmanlike conduct where they know who the personnel was supposed to be. That's coaching. Right there. Yep. That's coaching. And it cost them a drive that they were starting to pick up momentum on the drive. You get that unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Guess what now? Everything is killed. The crowd is quiet now because no one understands what the hell just happened. It's one of those rules that no one ever sees, but it happened in the playoff game, and it was the right call. We got a couple more minutes here with my man Ben Troupe. It's Troupe Talk. We do it every Monday during football season here on the One Mike with Big Mike show. Make sure you follow him at Ben Troupe, TROUPE 84 on Twitter and Instagram, and check out the website BenTroupe84.com. What do you do at Romo? You mentioned Romo. What do you do at Romo at this point? You know, there's been talks of him wanting to go to Denver, but do you trade him? Do you trade him or you cut him?
Well, you can either you had a loss either way because you got so much dead money. So I think what you do, you keep it, you bring him back next season. And
really, with that money?
Deadline, yeah, well, listen, within the trade deadline, somebody, because you know how quarterbacks, look at the Teddy Bridgewater situation. You always in need of a quarterback because I don't think.
He's making too much, though, Ben. He's making too much money. I don't think Tony Romo want to go to Denver. I think Tony Romo want to go to Houston. Really?
Tony Romo is looking at Houston saying, dang, they got the number 1 ranked defense.
So what you do, cut Brock Osweiler, just take the L with the money on him?
What is the thing, too? What is the thing? Look it's all about location and division. You in the AFC South. If you ain't got to listen, if Tony Romo couldn't go to Houston and win, it's over. Because the AFC South, it's like wide open. That division is wide open, and it's just one of those things to where Dak Prescott, in my opinion, man, people need to stop making say, oh man, if he slip and fall wrong, we got to put Tony in. No, you don't. The boy ain't even hit a rookie. Listen, he ain't even hit a rookie wall this year. At all.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is Tony Romo's best year is still not better than Dak. And Dak still ain't even went through growing pains yet. So I think you're going to have to find something to do with Tony Romo because as long as he's on the roster, you're going to always, Tony's in the wings. Tony Romo is like the quintessential when Tim Tebow was a backup. We got Tony, we got Tim. And I'm not comparing the athletic abilities of either one. I think it's miles away.
Right.
But I'm just saying you don't want to have that much nonsense. Because think about it, most backups, and you can vouch this, you don't even know who they are. So Tony Romo is in a situation to where, your resume should, launch you back into that starting position. But unfortunately, man, Dak Prescott ain't giving this thing up because the boy.
Yeah, but I don't think that's an option anymore. I think right now the only 2 things are to cut him or trade him because that, like you said, the money's too much to keep him. The money's just too much, and they got other problems. They got to worry about their pass rush. They got Mo Claiborne contract up. Brandon Carr contract up. They got to re-up that secondary because that's what burnt them on Sunday.
They got to re-up that secondary bad. I'm talking about. You don't even listen. You don't even know Orlando Scandrick still play for the freaking Dallas Cowboys. You don't even know it. I know, but it's just like dog. So listen,
that's
Dallas,
all that Tony Romo money. They need it.
Dallas, when you give. Listen, the Indianapolis coach are going to realize why they gave way too much for Andrew Luck. They about to see. Yeah, I understand, but they about to see because veterans ain't coming to no teams for no veteran minimum because so you get to play with Andrew Luck. Well, Andrew ain't won no playoffs last time I checked.
Yeah, that's
I'm
the
gonna go
problem
where I
with
get
them
my money.
non-guaranteed contracts. Last thing I got for you, man, here on One Mic with Big Mike with Ben Troupe. It is Troupe Talk. So I guess Chris Conley went to the NFL concussion protocol yesterday, and and again, nothing. It seems like the concussion protocol has gotten really laxed, more lax, I should say, because it's playoff season. I watched Matt Moore. I watched his soul leave his body last week.
Oh my God.
Right? I think I actually saw Chris Conley's brain jiggle in his head yesterday, and my man after the game started saying, "Nah, man, they were just looking at my back and my shoulder." Nah, cuz it's on video. Dude went back in the game in one play, Ben.
You know what's crazy? Because I'm an ambassador when it comes to heads up football, man. And in heads up football, they say when in doubt, take them out. Now these are kids,
right? A
kid ain't gonna take himself out. You got a grown man. The whole world can see that your face is over there. Well, your face is somewhere over there,
blinking all
and
slow.
You say here go, and this will make it even worse. What you talking about your back for? They ain't hitting your back, huh? They were just looking at my back and my shoulder. So let me tell you, if somebody hit you that hard in your head that your back and your shoulder hurt, you need to get out. They hit me in my head and my back and shoulder hurt. And that makes it even worse because what happens is it should not be based on the level of the game and who you are as a player. See, if you're a big, high-profile player, you're coming out. Ain't no in between. And the thing about it is,
but the money though,
listen,
back
man,
to the money.
These players are gonna realize. These players are gonna realize, man, one day, man. Listen, bro, it's one play, but it's to make the difference in the rest of your life, man. Why? So you can get in there and do what? You don't even remember probably being in there because you dazed and all the so. It was crazy, man. That concussion protocol, they're gonna have to really if it's gonna be an emphasis, keep the emphasis on it. Don't let it be like when we had all that domestic violence with Ray Rice and them, and once everything went away, the commercials went away, no more, it's just like, okay, well, that's over. Let's move on to the next.
Right, and that's what the NFL is all about, man. And this money situation, I can see why. No guaranteed contracts. It's ultra competitive every April/May. The crop gets replenished, so everybody is always. It feels like in the NFL, man, that everybody's always playing for their job. So yeah, if I can fake this concussion thing and keep playing, I'm probably gonna do it, man, because I understand that there's somebody that's probably like this kid Tyreek Hill came out of nowhere. And he's the biggest star on the team. On a team with Jeremy Maclin and Travis Kelce. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be like, nah, dog, it was my shoulder. My shoulder he hit. I know I can't hardly see, but yeah, it was my shoulder. Good for the NFL, man. NFL don't care, man. And to be honest with you, I don't either, man. These dudes signed up for it. They're educated now. They know what they're getting into. So I don't feel sorry for nobody. Yeah,
of course, and listen, I'm always an advocate for the players, especially them players getting their money, and I understand that people always say, yeah, Ben, but what about this, what about that? I said, listen, some people got jobs to where you can call out for it, and some people don't. He has a job to where you can't call out for it. Right. You have to show up to work, and they have to see that you physically are able to come to work, and they send you home. See, he has that type of job. So this is what you sign up for, and the window of opportunity to play in the NFL is very, very small, short, man.
Right.
Hey, man, I deal with the rest of my life when the rest of my life comes. As of right now, hey, coach, man, my shoulder, my back, cool. Let's get back in there.
Right, immediately, one play. All right, man, we're gonna do it next week. We're gonna talk about these conference championship games. The Georgia Dome's open for one more game officially, so they get to close that situation out. So yeah, we'll talk about all that kind of stuff on next week's episode of Troupe Talk, my man. I appreciate it as always.
Appreciate it.
It's Ben Troupe, man. You guys make sure, once again, follow him on Twitter and Instagram at BenTroupe84. Also, check out the website, Ben Troupe84. That dude crazy as hell. That dude said Jerry Jones' window is closing in life, period. I love that level of ignorance. So, yeah, coming up next, my man, Will Leitch. We're going to Skype him in here in just a second. Will Leitch is going to join us from Sports on Earth, and we're going to talk about this article, The Plight. The plight of the Atlanta sports fan. Like, do other sports fans have the same issues? I'm going to ask him about all that kind of stuff. We're going to kick it around a little bit. He's a white dude, so, yeah, I'm giving back to the cause. You know what I mean? I got a white dude working on MLK Day. You're welcome. Anyway, man, we're going to take a short break here. Come back, get my man Will on the line, and do the damn thing. It is the One Mic with Big Mike show here on Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app. I'm also on TuneIn most of the time. Not tonight, but I'm on the website, onemicwithbigmike.com. You guys can jump inside the live interactive chat room if you're listening via Spreaker or the website by clicking on that little thought bubble icon, and poof, magic, you're in the building. You can also text me at 404-902-8104 or leave your comments below my live streaming video here. Let me remove Ben Troupe's handsome mug off the screen here. You can leave your comments below the video. The Facebook page is at the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
You must have thrown 1,000 pitches teaching him to hit a home run. Spent countless Saturdays running routes so he could learn to hit an open receiver. Endless afternoons teaching him how to hit the three-pointer. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit? Teaching boys that all violence against women is wrong is one of the most important things a man can do. Learn how to start the conversation at teachearly.org. Brought to you by Futures Without Violence and the Ad Council.
One Mic.
All I need is one mic.
What's the name of the show?
One Mic with Big Mike.
You know, ain't nobody getting hurt, ain't nobody, there's no crime being committed.
And they say his style is too urban for the radio.
This is real life stuff that's happened to me.
Well, you know what?
You, and you.
One Mic with Big Mike.
I like to be able to do what I want to do.
A sports talk show, but no subject matter is off limits.
Meek Mill's concert is not called the Hell Yeah I Bang Khloe Kardashian concert.
And now, your host.
Put your hands together for the one, the only
Big Mike.
All I need is one mic. Back here on a Monday. I think I can hear you, Will. We'll see if we can bring Will in here in just a second. Back here on a Monday, MLK Monday here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Spreaker.com is where you're hearing me, or possibly the website, onemicwithbigmike.com. Don't forget, if you missed any of the first hour of the show, you can hear it on demand on Spreaker, the Spreaker app, tune in, the website, or on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and YouTube. I got the live video stream going on right now, Facebook Live. The Facebook page is One Mic with Big Mike, the number 1 MICWITHBIGMIKE. And now, as promised, we're gonna see if we can get this thing to do what it do. I got my man Will Leitch. I read an article he wrote last week, and I found it very, very insightful and hilarious. So we decided to get him on the show, and he agreed. You guys, one time, give it up for Will Leitch.
Hey.
There he is.
I'm here. Thanks for having me, man. I was honored you asked.
All right, so my man, the Plight. Make sure you guys are following Will as well on Twitter. Let me pull up your information here at William F. Leitch. Pronounced Leitch like the parasite. That's what he said to be. It's like Leitch the parasite. Okay, so the Falcons coming off of a win, big win here. Against Seattle on Saturday, and Friday I'm doing all my reading, getting ready for the show, and I see The Plight of the Atlanta Sports Fan by Will Leitch. I said, okay, let me reach out to this guy and get him on this show, because this is hilarious to me. This is something that I'm always talking about. I've done like a couple of shows on different formats on this particular subject. So first thing I want to ask you, why this article? Why now for the article? And how is this, if it is, how is this plight here in the city of Atlanta any different than anywhere else?
Yeah, well, I moved to Athens. I lived in New York City for 13 years. I started the website Deadspin. So if you know Deadspin, I'm sorry, I apologize for that.
Oh, wow. Love Deadspin.
Yeah. So I don't work for it anymore, but I started 10 years ago. And so I lived in New York, worked for New York Magazine, and I work for Sports on Earth now. And I moved to Athens about 3 years ago. And so I have many friends here. My wife went to the University of Georgia. She's from Columbus. So I obviously had many friends down here, but I have to say my experience with Atlanta was relatively limited. And the one thing that everybody always told me, the minute when I got here, it's like, oh, Atlanta sports fans are the most fatalistic, certain it's all going to fall apart.
Oh, yeah.
And I have to say, nationally speaking, I don't know if Atlanta fans have that reputation. I certainly did not think of them that way until I kind of got here and started talking to a bunch of the fans. I actually do a series for Sports on Earth called Leitch Across America, where I go to different sports cities. I interview a bunch of fans. I went to Cleveland and San Francisco and Chicago and went to Los Angeles this year. And for me, I'm always fascinated by how the fan base. I'm more interested in fans than players a lot of the times.
Okay.
And so I love talking to fans and finding out like what their favorite moments were, what their insecurities are, what their anxieties are. And I never thought, maybe just because the weather's warm, that Atlanta, I think this goes over for University of Georgia football as well.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely becomes, you never quite buy in all the way. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to write it before the game on Saturday. Because for me, that if Atlanta would have lost that game on Saturday, the Falcons lose that game, with everything set up, with a Seahawks team that frankly was not one of the great Seahawks team, if Atlanta loses that game, then I understand the grimness and I understand the pain and I understand not being able to believe. But I feel like so I want to kind of like acknowledge that before that game, which is funny though because now that they've won, I feel like if they lose
all over
on Sunday,
again, right? It's all over again.
It's gonna be a lot worse than what would have happened in the first place.
The other voice that you're hearing is a senior writer for Sports on Earth and the man who started Deadspin. Did not know that. I read Deadspin a lot because I feel like a lot of it is so raw and uncut, and it speaks to me in that way. He's William. He's Will Leitch. I'm looking at your Twitter handle. It's so formal at William F Leitch. What's your take? You say you focus on the fans a lot. What is your take on the concept of the bandwagon fans? Because that's the thing that's going on here right now too. Full disclosure, I'm from Atlanta. I'm a native, but I've never ever attached myself to a team as far as fandom concerned, and part of it is because of what you wrote about, the way fans act. When I was a kid, I couldn't understand it. I used to like watching the Falcons, but when they would lose, people would be so angry and there would be so much vitriol towards the team. I was like, I don't feel that way. I like the team. And also my dad wasn't a big sports person, so I didn't get that inherited anger towards the team either. It was just, me watching sports. Now I kind of watch sports that way now. I just like watching the games for what they are. But what is your take on the concept of the bandwagon fan?
Well, I feel like there's two different kinds of bandwagon fans.
Okay.
One kind of bandwagon fan is the one that roots for the Cowboys and Alabama and the Yankees and, those guys. All of a sudden really into the Golden State Warriors all of a sudden the last couple of years. So there's that kind of bandwagon fan. I'm not a big fan of those. I don't think anybody's a fan of those kind of bandwagon fans. However, I do think one nice thing that I've lived in a lot of different cities. I've kind of settled in Athens and settled here in Georgia. And one things I do kind of love is, I love turning on the television on Saturday morning, and there wasn't a station here in the Georgia area that was not talking about the Falcons, and everyone was into the Falcons. And at my kids' school, everyone was wearing Falcon stuff, and they had a little Falcons Pump You Up rally. And yeah, were all of those people watching every single game this year? Were all of these people really into the team when they were struggling a couple of years ago? Do they remember the pain of the Petrino era and that sort of thing? Probably not. They probably have just kind of come in a little bit because the team is successful. So for me, I understand like a diehard fan being a little wary of those people. But one of the things I like about the success of a sports team and what it does to a town, it becomes something that everybody can be involved in together. We obviously, I don't need to tell anybody listening, it's a divisive world out there. And to find things, one of the things I love about sports is it is perhaps artificially, but it is something that can connect us. I went to the University of Illinois. If I see someone in Illinois in a Illini hat, I may disagree with him on every single thing in the world. We might not be friends in real life. We may see the world in entirely different ways. We might not even like each other. But for those 2 hours that are watching that game, we're best friends.
Right.
And for me, that is something that I love, and I think is very specific to sports fandom. It's hard to find another thing in the world like that. So yeah, there's a lot of bandwagon fans out there that are suddenly, I love the Falcons. I love Matt Ryan and Julio Jones and some of the other players.
But the fan base needs that, don't they?
Yeah.
A fan base needs those people to fill things out a little bit, don't they?
Yeah, and I also think that it helps get away from this idea. Like when people get excited about something, it helps chip away of that idea of fatalism and chip away in the idea of like, I'm a cynic and I know my team's going to break my heart. It's hard to be really cynical when there's like a 10-year-old kid being like, yeah, I love my Falcons. Right. And, one of the jokes I always say is that, think of the things in the world that made you just like spontaneously jump and scream in joy. Like there's nothing does that but sports. And maybe, I don't know, like maybe if you're goosed accidentally or something, but generally, like for me, that is for me one of the great things about sports. So I think when you have fresh blood, like listen, when you watch a team, there are people I know. I have fans that were Golden State Warriors that watched that team during the regular season where they won more games than anyone did in the history of the NBA, and they still complained about that team.
That's
when
ridiculous.
you watch the team every day, you'll complain. To me, I think it's good to have those kind of fans for something like this, for such a huge game on Sunday and such a big moment for everyone to all get excited about.
I'll tell you like this. Growing up here, I've learned to hate fans and fandom and everything that comes with it. I've learned to loathe it. What do you think about the celebration? Because I have a concept when it comes to premature celebration. I hate in baseball, you clinch the wild card game and now you popping champagne. On Saturday, the Falcons won. Arthur Blank, it looked like a Super Bowl winning locker room. Not a team that had another game to play. And I think for the fandom, and I'm going to try my best to speak for the fan base, that attitude I think is pervasive where everything that you think you accomplish is at such a high, it makes the things that you fail at such a low. Because the other team it was like business as usual. Let's move on to the next game. They up in there. Arthur Blank is dancing and they having a party. When in all actuality, the good teams understand that the goal is 2 games away. Whereas then you have the Falcons, and maybe, again, I'm jaded. Maybe I'm a jaded guy from Atlanta. But it seemed as though they were acting as though some sort of finish line was crossed. Did you get that impression? I
see what you mean, and I definitely understand that, particularly when, the goal is supposed to be a championship, particularly when it comes to Atlanta. Like they've had teams, they made the NFC Championship game just 5 years ago, and that was a huge disappointment in a game that, frankly, I think they probably should have won that game. So the idea of just reaching that level and getting really excited about it, I do understand how that could feel a little premature. Along those same lines, though, I guarantee you the Falcons fans enjoyed their win so much more than, say, the Patriots fans did.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for me, the Patriots fans, this is the problem. In baseball, my dirty secret, this usually gets me yelled at, I'm a St. Louis Cardinals fan. And
Cheater.
Cheater, please. Okay, we're not going to go down that road.
We won't.
But I'll say that one of the things, it's undeniable that when – on one hand, winning one championship just makes you want to win more. Mm-hmm. There's an old George Carlin line where they asked him what cocaine made you feel like, and he said it makes you feel like doing more cocaine. And I feel like championships are kind of like that. If you win a championship, you want another one. But that kind of euphoria, if you had told a Patriots fan at the beginning of the season, hey, you're going to make the AFC Championship game, they're going to say, yeah, we better make the AFC Championship game. But if you told a Falcons fan, at the beginning of the year, you're going to host the NFC Championship game in the last Falcons game ever at the Georgia Dome.
Absolutely.
It would be amazing, and you'd be right to be that excited. So I think it's about that kind of balance. Sure, you want the players to be focused on the ultimate goal. But, if you only allow yourself joy when your team wins a championship, sports is going to be a very frustrating place for you.
Indeed. I guess my thing is just the amount. Like temper it.
Oh, yeah.
Because inevitably, there's only going to be one team that doesn't get that Jordan crying meme at the end of the season. Like, I think that's what things have been reduced to. We don't necessarily want to win the championship. We just don't want to lose it so that we get the crying meme on us for the next year or so. The other voice that you're hearing is senior writer for Sports on Earth. His name is Will Leitch. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram I don't know if you have an Instagram, Will?
Yeah, it's William F. Leitch as well, yes.
Okay, William F. Leitch.
Yeah, it's mostly just pictures of my kids, but they're usually at the Georgia basketball game. So
Good dad there. Should these fans make long-term plans for this team? And this is what I'm asking you. I was speaking to their beat writer last Wednesday, and he dropped something on me that he feels as though this team is in the beginning of what could be a 5-year window of the opportunity to continue to compete for championships. I saw it totally differently. I felt like Kyle Shanahan's going to leave, and this team is going to have to start over. You've been very lucky with your quarterback staying healthy. This dude hadn't missed many games, if any, due to injury. Julio Jones is, he's such an animalistic player that he tends to get nicked up season in and season out, and he's not getting any younger. So I felt like it was kind of a do-or-die situation this year. He told me that he doesn't think Kyle's leaving, one, and he thinks this team is set up to make a little bit of a run. So I'm asking you, someone who pays attention to fans and their fandom, should the fans here in Atlanta fall in love with this type of success from this team?
Well, on one hand, you should enjoy the moment when it's happening, and don't the last thing on any Falcons fan's mind this week should be what happens the rest of in 2017 after the Super Bowl moving forward. Like, you're one game away from the Super Bowl. For me, the guy to get excited about is Dan Quinn. Like, he is universally respected. I do a show for Sports Illustrated called Pro Football Now with Nate Burleson, remember the former NFL wide receiver, and some other people from Sports Illustrated. Awesome guy. And the way that he talks, he's obviously plugged into the league. He's on Good Morning Football and NFL Network. The way that he talks about Dan Quinn, like, he's a guy whose players just, like, the Falcons hit a home run with that hire. And so as long as he's in charge, you feel good with that guy in charge. Shanahan, 49ers look like they want him. I think that if I were a Falcons fan that didn't want to lose him, I would have wished that McDaniels would have taken that job, because I think Shanahan was probably next on that list. So yeah, anytime any University of Georgia fan will tell you the fears of when you lose an offensive coordinator, what that's going to do to your team. That said, this is the NFL. Again, look at the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals coming into this season were considered, favorites, if not the favorite, one of the top favorites. And Bruce Arians, his players love him. They just came off that Amazon TV show where everyone was convinced that the Cardinals were just going to coast through this year, and they fell apart. They actually still had a good team, but they lost games in weird ways, in kind of the sloppy ways that, frankly, mediocre teams lose games. So you never know. That team looked stamped for at least the NFC Championship game this year, as did a lot of people thought the Panthers. Yep. So the idea of what's going to happen next, I feel like it's the NFL. It's really just the Patriots are the ones that you can count on being here every year, and that's because they have Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. And speaking of the cheaters that you mentioned earlier, pointing in that direction rather than us in the Midwest. But I will say that for me, these opportunities come along so rarely that all you can hope is to have smart people in charge, have the quarterback, and hope all the bricks fall your way. And this looks like one of those years where it's kind of happening for the Falcons.
There you go, Falcons fans. You're doomed. You just heard it from Will Leitch. You're absolutely doomed after this year if you don't get it done.
That's not exact. Yes.
I actually, Terrence Mathis said that to me. Well, not that. I'm being facetious, but he didn't say that to me. But I asked him about that 98 team on Friday, and I wasn't expecting to answer. I got to ask the question, but I said, when you guys lost the game, was it a feeling of okay, we know how it's done, we know what the work is to put in to get here? Did you automatically feel like we'll be back next year? He was like, nope. We felt like we blew the opportunity altogether. I was like, wow, I really didn't expect that. Tell me about this Ice Bowl thing that I saw you talking about, the Ice Bowl, because I think you're on the same page that I'm on. I think every team should have a dome. If I'm going to watch the best players, the best athletes in the world play, I want them to play in optimal conditions at all times. That's why I'm so glad Aaron Rodgers has to come here and play in this dome. The best quarterback in the league has no wind, no snow, no ice, no cold, anything. You get to see the best do it at the top level. Is that kind of where you're going with this Ice Bowl thing? Or tell everybody what the Ice Bowl thing is first, because I'm kind of just alluding to it.
Yeah, I did a video for Sports Illustrated, kind of ranting about the Ice Bowl. In that, I think I'm kind of from like the Generation X era, so I'm very suspicious of baby boomers that try to tell me how everything was great when they were 15 and they were all drinking Ovaltine and watching Mickey Mantle lift bales of hay or something. I don't know. I seem to be saying things like that. But so I am very suspicious of that. And so the Ice Bowl is always this notion of this is the way real men played football. Garbage. And how real men and for me, football is I don't care if people are playing football in the most perfect weather conditions imaginable. That is a brutal, tough game. Those are real men. Whatever your classification of real men are, if it doesn't include people playing football at that high a level, I don't know what it is.
Absolutely.
I think that, and so for me, what I want to see as an observer, someone that loves football and as a fan, is I want to see these great athletes who are capable of things that I cannot even fathom myself. I mean, I get nervous walking downstairs. I mean, so I look at these guys and what they're capable to do on a regular basis. And I don't want that happening in 10 below. I don't want them frozen and have to play. Like, it's the worst when you're like, remember that Seattle Minnesota game last year where it was insanely cold in the playoffs.
That's ridiculous.
And it was a miserable game to watch. It barely resembled football. It really looked like 22 ice blocks running into one another, and occasionally an ice blocks would fall over. And that's not fun. Like, that's not football for me. And I think I don't like this idea that football is like, for me, football, one of the great things about football is it is obviously a physical endeavor, but it's also a mind game. Like, this strategy-wise, kind of what you can push yourself as a player to, what you learn about yourself playing the game. For me, that is an exciting thing. The idea that you need to just put them just to show how tough they are, to put them in this. I'm so excited to see, like, Aaron Rodgers and Ryan are like two of the best quarterbacks.
That's going to be awesome.
It's going to be incredible. I can't
gosh.
wait to watch that game. And to me, if someone would want to say, Aaron Rodgers can do that, but can he throw the ball when it is 50 pounds full of ice? Like, I don't want to see that.
I'm good.
I want to see Aaron Rodgers throw it on the field, and I think most fans want to see that too.
Absolutely. Last thing I got for you, and he is a senior writer for Sports on Earth, the guy who created Deadspin, for you Deadspin fans out there. He's Will Leitch. Follow him on social media at William F as in FU Leitch, Leitch. Let's switch gears real quick to another sport, basketball. You reviewed George Karl's book, and that made a little bit of hay about, first time around, about the fatherless guy, the guys who grew up without fathers and how that affected them as people. And here just recently, last week, I read something where he kind of intimated that there was a little bit of a PED issue with the National Basketball Association. And, of course, Adam Silver came out quickly and was like, no, our testing is grade A, number one. I'll ask, because I'm skeptical of everything when it comes to sports. I don't care. Like, I don't care if Peyton Manning took growth hormones. I don't care. Guess what that means? I get to see Peyton Manning play quarterback more. I don't care. That's his body. But for you, a guy who has done this for some time now, if I were to say to you that the NBA did have an issue, minor or major, with performance enhancers, what would your response be to me?
Yeah, my viewpoint, frankly, is very similar to yours. The idea that in 30 years, athletes are going to and doctors are going to look back at our time today the same way that we look at the drugs that Mark McGuire and Barry Bonds and those guys allegedly took 20 years ago, which basically were like horse pills. Like now, testing is never going to catch up to the drugs that people are using.
Ever.
And so for me, the idea that, first off, my guess is, there's probably are players in the NBA that are using PEDs. The PEDs being a very large catch-all term that I think we, in our minds, we're still stuck with the idea of steroids.
Steroids and getting big. But guys need recovery now. They're playing 82 games and all the pounding. We're talking about recovery, not necessarily turning into Barry Bonds. You got like a size 19 shoe when you were 11 and a size 18 hat when it was a 7 type situation anymore.
Yeah, it's strange and it's weird. It's a very uniquely American thing about sports, and it's really about everything. Though we can not to get into the presidential election. I don't know if this is exactly the case anymore. But we're always kind of obsessed with fair play. We're always obsessed with the idea of this has to be on a level playing field, whatever that possibly means. There's nothing about the world that is completely equal. Yeah, like that's not the case at all. And so the idea. It's funny. One of the things they talked about in baseball a couple of years ago was when the issue that's kind of slowed down the players and kind of hurt the quality of play was not some of their PED testing. It was that they actually banned amphetamines. They actually banned like uppers because it wasn't because like players were like, oh, like kids studying for a test, I got to go tweak or something. It's just that it's a grind. Like all of these sports are grinds, and we know we see them on television, and we watch our game for 2.5 hours, and then we go to bed, or then we go have another beer, or we do whatever. We can't really appreciate what kind of the wear and tear all of these sports take on these players. So certainly I understand, I think the science on these things are going to get better and better. And the idea that there were I feel like sometimes there's some of these old syringes and steroid ideas are used to are kind of straw men, like boogeymen tossed out to kind of to scare people. And really, I agree with you. If you listen, would I prefer that no athletes did PEDs? Yeah, I guess so. I would prefer that. But I also don't think that sports is a magical candy land where when there's this much money and this much competition. Imagine at any of our jobs or anyone listening at their jobs, if at every single second of your job for the rest of your life, someone is right behind you desperately trying to take your job, and every day you do your job, you're going to get a little bit worse because you're getting older. The idea that we in that similar circumstances would not make a lot of decisions that they do, I think is unrealistic and unfair.
Yeah, absolutely. I say it all the time. Like if someone told me, take this pill, Mike, and you'll get 5 million listeners, and you'll be syndicated across the world everywhere, I wouldn't even ask what it is, and I'd probably have it in my mouth before you ended the sentence. As a matter of fact, yeah, that's what it's all about. You're trying to get to the top, to the echelon of your particular profession or whatever you're doing, and if you can get a leg up, why not? Anyway, Will, this was awesome. You're an awesome dude, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we're gonna have to do this again.
Man. Absolutely. Listen, I'm in, and listen, I live in Athens, so I'm around there all the time. I'm actually
for
NBA people. If you watch the NBA TV, NBA TV, I'm good friends with the starters, Skeets, and all those guys on that show. So I'm in Atlanta all the time. So by all means, I'd love to. I'd love to come on anytime, and we'll always catch a game or something. I will go to any sporting event. Are you going to the game Sunday?
I'm not. As a matter of fact, I was just on Facebook before the show started, and somebody was like, damn, who the hell is going to pay all that money for them damn tickets?
It's crazy. It's crazy. It is crazy. I actually looked. I was kind of curious because it was too late to apply for a press pass, and I don't really like to sit in the press box anyway. So I just kind of looked up and let's see what. Oh, nope, I'll be watching that at home.
Yeah,
I'll be watching that at home quite comfortably.
Man.
And one of the great things about football is, honestly, sometimes it's a little bit more fun to watch at home anyway.
This is true. And that's the problem that the NFL is kind of finding. But you know what? Before I let you go, because I meant to ask you this, but now since you mentioned it, this is a question I've had since I've been a little kid here in this city of Atlanta. I do not understand the immense love affair with the University of Georgia. Like you even mentioned it. When I was in 8th grade, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets won a national championship. It rarely gets mentioned. Only the Herschel Walker teams down in Athens. Can you give me, in the next, minute to 90 seconds or less, an answer to that lifelong question I've had? Because I ask people who love the school but have never set foot on the campus, would never have a chance of being admitted to the school, by the way, but they love the school. What is that about? It feels so cultish to me.
Yeah, well, I think anytime there's a college sports thing, there's a cultish aspect to it. And it's definitely not involving just having gone to school there. I grew up in a small town by the University of Illinois. My father did not go to Illinois, and I was the first kid to go to college out of my family. But we loved Illinois basketball because it just becomes part of the culture. It becomes part of people in Atlanta can be into Georgia. People from South Georgia can be into Georgia.
Everywhere.
People from South Carolina. And, I think part of that is, I think that Georgia has the history obviously has a factor in it too. But also, I think to compare it to Georgia Tech, and again, to be fair, I've only been here for 3 years, so I can claim no expert status on this. But one of the things that's always kind of funny to me is I've asked similar questions. Like when you think of recruiting, it seems like Georgia Tech would have quite a recruiting base that they'd be able to work from, and Georgia all kind of gets it. But I do think that there is something to, like Sanford Stadium. Have you been to Sanford Stadium?
I have.
It is. I mean, it is. I always joke when I first moved here. I'd never even been to Athens until we looked at houses here, and I moved here. And I was like, wow, the stadium is not just metaphorically at the center of everything here. It's literally right in the middle. They built the campus around the football stadium, and I think there is something that the SEC is going to have a team in the SEC is going to have that team in the ACC just isn't. And I think that, and for me, I agree, man. Georgia Tech I went to the Georgia Tech basketball game this year at McCamish, and they paraded that football team that had beat Georgia around as if they had just won World War II. And so I understand. I do think there's a big brother, little brother type of thing, but it is tradition. Sometimes it's not always great tradition, to be honest, but I think that, it is something that is passed down in a way that I think Georgia Tech, while having that, maybe doesn't have it in maybe the width and breadth that Georgia does.
All right. Well, Will, thank you, and we'll definitely do it again soon, man. Appreciate your time, and have a good rest of your MLK Day, my man.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. Anytime.
All right. Make sure you guys once again are following him at William F. Leitch, Leitch. Yeah, I like him. Like William. I like Deadspin too, so that's kind of an added bonus. And you heard him dropping names, so that's another contact to some other people. My man. Yeah. A kindred spirit when it comes to this ridiculous fandom that goes on around here. You guys. Anyway, we're going to take a break. Last segment of the show. I'm really trying not to look at this damn Warriors game while I'm talking to y'all, man. But we're going to get in and get out, though. That's what she said, of course. Right here on the One Mic with Big Mike show. Heard on Spreaker, the Spreaker app. Tune in most nights and on One Mic with BigMike.com. You can also text me at 404-902-8104. I'm going to dip into this chat room here in just a second and see what's going on. Also, you guys can leave comments below my live streaming video here on Facebook Live. I'm at the number 1 MIC, WITHBIGMIKE.
I have one question for you.
Do you or someone you know run a business that could benefit from additional exposure? The One Mic with Big Mike show is currently taking on new sponsors and advertisers. One Mic with Big Mike is currently syndicated across 8 different online platforms, and your company's name could be heard and seen across all 8 as well.
Let's get to work.
Please send all inquiries to Mike at onemicwithbigmike.com. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your continued support.
All I need is one mic.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
And now back to One Mic with Big Mike.
And here we go!
Hey. Yeah. Welcome back to the One Mic with Big Mike show. Everybody in the club getting tipsy. Here on Spreaker.com. It is a Monday. It's an MLK Monday. Checking out the Golden State Warriors. They beating the brakes so far off of the Cleveland Cavaliers. But as we know, no lead is safe when you got LBJ, Kyrie, Tristan, or as my wifey calls him, Tristan. Make sure you check the show out on demand, all previous episodes. I see a lot of you guys and girls have been checking out the previous episodes, and I appreciate you guys and you ladies for hooking that up. They're on Spreaker, on demand on Spreaker. Tune in. Spreaker also has an app, by the way, so make sure you guys download that situation and sign up for your free Spreaker account. Also, it's on the website, onemicwithbigmike.com, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and, of course, YouTube. I got the streaming video going on right now, Facebook Live, www.facebook.com/1 MIC, WITHBIGMIKE. All right, it's that time in the show. Got to take a look back, commemorate the past, things that have happened on previous MLK days in history, in the histrionics of sports. And here we go.
Now, let's take a look back.
On this day.
All right, on this day in, where are we at? 1896. The first 5-player college basketball game was played in Iowa City, Iowa. On this day in 1905, baseball outfielder Frank Hulsman was traded for the for the 6th time in 8 months. Nobody wanted his ass. On this day in 1970, the NFL realigns into 3 divisions, down from 4. And then if you guys remember, because the Falcons were in the NFC West with Tampa and San Francisco and the Rams. And then you had the NFC East was Cowboys, Giants, Redskins, Arizona was in that joint at the time. But anyway, that's when that happened. And then some years later, of course, now we have 4-4 again. On this day in 1981, Yvonne Lindell intentionally loses a match in the Volvo Masters in order to avoid playing Bjorn Borg. I vaguely remember that because my uncle was a big tennis person. Not remember it. I was only 4 years old, but I remember my uncle talking about Yvonne Lindell and Bjorn Borg. On this day in 1981, Leon Spinks. Y'all remember Leon, Snaggletooth Leon. He was mugged. Even his gold teeth were taken by the assailants. Jesus. You talking about some roguish mess, boy. On this day in 1988, Jimmy the Greek Snyder, he was fired from CBS TV for racial remarks. You say, Mike, there were racial remarks? Do you have them? Well, I'm glad you asked. I do have them. This is awesome stuff, too. This happened in, 88? What was I, in 5th grade when this happened? And I remember him being fired for this, too. Here's Jimmy the Greek.
The black is the better athlete, and he's bred to be the better athlete because it goes back all the way to the Civil War, when during the slave trading, the slave owner would breed
the big black
to his
with
big
woman, black woman,
so that he could have a
big black kid.
A big black kid. See,
yeah.
Well, they've got everything. If they take over coaching like everybody wants them to, there's not going to be anything left for the white people.
Oh,
the
poor
black
white
is
folks.
a better athlete to begin with because he's been bred to be that way because of his high thighs. And I don't want this on.
Oh, racist ass found out he was being recorded. I don't want this on. Wait, I was just talking about Negroes. Sky Point, Jimmy the Greek. And finally, on this day in 1988, the NFL's St. Louis Cardinals announced they were moving to Phoenix, Arizona. Damn, St. Louis can't keep a damn football team, can they? Sucks for you guys. And that is your Monday, your MLK Monday edition of On This Day. Yeah, that Jimmy the Greek is like classic. My man was like, yeah, guess what? They got high thighs and big booties. And you know what? There's part of that is like factually correct, but you just know he's like a slime bag. You know what I mean? And you just can't really vibe with it because of the dude that's saying it. I can say that. I can talk about the anatomical makeup of black people and how it relates to power and speed and things of that nature. And he'd be like, all right, it makes sense, scientifically, I guess. Well, you can't get that dude on there talk about, and then, we can't compete. The poor white man. The next thing you know, they're going to take all the coaching jobs, too. Shout out to the Rooney Rule. 8 minority. See, I'm almost getting tripped up on that. 8 minority head coaches next year in the NFL. So shout out to the Rooney Rule. I even asked Ben about that. They'll still be there next week when I talk to him. Hopefully. Hopefully they'll all still be there. Because they already found out my man. They done already dug up my man Vance Joseph, I think is his name. The dude that's coaching the Broncos. Now, they done pulled up his college stuff. Apparently, he had a sexual assault allegation against him. The report read something like he got naked. Him and some girls was drunk and getting high. And both of the girls end up the end of the story. They were in separate beds. And my man kind of shot his shot. He got naked and tried to cuddle up with with both of them. They ended up finding out. One of them played like she was passed out, so he was like, all right, moving on, and then tried the other one, or maybe vice versa. She told him to get the hell on, and that was the end of the thing. That was the end of the ordeal. So yeah, they done went and dug that up on my man early. Yep, the end days are nearing, Barack's out of there on Friday. And old orange poo-poo goofy face is going to be in there. Whew. Man, it's getting, like, as the days progress, it gets less and less funny. Like, you remember the first day we did the show? We had like a couple, like 500 people on Spreaker listening to that garbage talking about Trump. It was so funny and hilarious. And I forget who came on that night. A comedian came on that night, and we had a little fun with it. And now, I think it was Guy Torrey. And now, as the days draw near, everything is becoming final. My man was like, my man, the Prez was like, this is going to be the last event we got at the White House. It's like, damn it, man. Yeah, we're screwed, dude. We're all entirely screwed. So anyway, I told you guys I was going to see Hidden Figures on Friday. Me and the old lady went down to the theater, and it was a good look too, because I don't know if I can call that a good look because nobody went in there. It was a good look for us because we got to sit like right, that middle aisle on the top level where you right in front, the middle of the screen. You get all the good acoustics and all that kind of stuff. So it was good from that perspective, but the movie only been out for a week, and the theater was like that. That wasn't really a good look. As far as the movie goes, I can't necessarily lie and say I enjoyed it, that I like the movie in and of itself. The story, obviously, the story is a wonderful story, but I think it felt like it was so many mischaracterizations during the movie. And after I heard about the one with the bathroom situation, if you hadn't seen it yet, screw you. I'm gonna talk about this movie where they kind of made it like the white guy, Kevin Costner's character, ended racism by reopening. Oh, it was number one this week. Shout out to them then. Yeah, see, I didn't have a good barometer. I went at 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. And I didn't go to the white theater, but I went to the one that white people will feel more comfortable frequenting than the other one near me. So yeah, it wasn't a bunch of white people in there feeling all uncomfortable either. So that made me sad. I wanted to see some uncomfortability. But so shout out to them, man. Shout out to Pharrell and all them folks over there. Number one movie again this week, Hidden Figures. I'm so tempted every time to say Hidden Fences and that's what I get for picking on that white girl for saying it. It's an easy mistake to make if you're thinking about both movies. But like I said, I can't necessarily say. I was talking to my wife yesterday that I considerably enjoyed the movie itself. And part of that, I feel like, is because I told myself I wanted to read the story, the actual story, before I saw the movie. Didn't get around to it. If you guys want to go to my Facebook page, there's actually a link. There's actually an article there that I'm gonna read after the show that says the actual story of Hidden Figures. I'm gonna read that after the show because I felt like after I heard Mrs. Johnson speak about some of the things that were mischaracterized in the movie, I was like, come on, man. Like, this is not one of them things. Like, I'm not that dude that's like, if a book comes out, the movie has to be exactly like the book. That didn't happen. But this is a historical thing. And I think the white dude who did the movie, you could feel his trepidation in totally making this woman the center point of this movie. And she should have been. Everything about her family life, her strength, her intelligence, all those things should have been at the forefront of the movie. And I think you denigrate that when you have this thing about her running 1.5 miles every day with these classified documents, getting them all wet in the rain and all this kind of foolishness, sitting down on the toilet and flipping through them to use the bathroom to prove some type of point. When she herself said, 90-some years old, was like, hell no, I just went to the bathroom. Yeah, the bathroom was that far away, but I didn't go to that one. I went to the one I wanted to go to. See, that type of defiance, I think, is a part of who she is. You know what I mean? She's just not this nerdy black lady that got in a place because she was smart and she fit in and people accepted her because she was smart. She made her way. And for what it's worth, I didn't get that feeling from the movie, man. You know what I mean? I felt like it was a bunch of like the Octavia character. I felt like she was just trying to be sneaky and learn this machine before the white boys learned it. Like, I don't know. To me, those type of things could have been done better. To me, to illuminate these women as the figures, the strong, important figures that they were to a very monumental time in, I guess I'll say it this time, American history. in Black American history, and it kind of get watered down. And when you compare and contrast it with Fences, I heard Denzel talking about it on 60 Minutes, how the guy who wrote the book, he had to have a black director. There wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Because if you watch the movie, I don't know how many of you guys seen the movie, but if you see the movie, the cadences and the vernacular that's being used in the movie, it's outstandingly authentic. Outstanding. And when you compare and contrast the two, you see the difference. You see, I know Pharrell is there as a producer, but if you've seen enough episodes of, what's the movie with Ari Gold, the show Entourage, you understand that they was giving producer credits to everybody. Pharrell wrote a hell of a score. The music to the movie was awesome as well. But I think the story, I'm going to read the entire thing as much as I can about these ladies, Miss Johnson and those ladies, but it felt empty. It felt a little empty to me. You know what I mean? And then, of course, like so many times, you got to make these movies PG-13, because if you say the N-word too many times, and it's got to be R, and then kids can't go see it. That's why the Jackie Robinson 42 was so bad. That's why the Jesse Owens movie was so bad, because you can't make it, like, that time can't be watered down. You know what I mean? It can't be watered down and have the movie still have an authentic feel to it. That's my take. Saw Hidden Figures this weekend. You know what? I was supposed to play my little "What You Looking At" sounder. I guess the moment has passed, hasn't it? All right. What was I going to do here? Give you guys the hashtag, put it on the poll, brought to us by Sports News and Brews. Results. Which quarterback would you want taking your team down the field for a touchdown to win the game? 30% say Matt Ryan. 60% Aaron Rodgers. That's like that's kind of like one of those prisoner of the moment thing. I'm not saying you're wrong, by the way. 10% say Tom Brady, and no one says Ben Roethlisberger. That's wild crazy, man. Because like, not just because of Ben, but because of Le'Veon, Antonio Brown. We gotta like really think about this Antonio Brown, Julio Jones thing a little bit more in depth. Of course, we're talking about two greats, right? Two guys that are great at doing their thing. But I think, I'll say this, the thing I think separates Antonio Brown from Julio Jones, two things. He's not a physically imposing athlete. And the second thing is that he's available. Julio's injured a lot over his career. He's been the screw in his foot. He got the knee stuff. Now this is the foot again this year. He's been on and off the field, and sometimes when he's on the field, he's not at 100%. I can't really say that about Antonio Brown, which would, as someone who don't do a lot of lists on this show or rankings, I would probably put him over Julio Jones. Let's put it on the poll, Renee. Hashtag put it on the poll. We hadn't done that in a while. Now I'll read these results off to you guys next episode. Same type of question, though. If you needed one receiver to make one play to win the Super Bowl, are you picking Julio or AB? Quintorris or Antonio? Hashtag put it on the poll, brought to us by sportsnewsandbrews.com. Here's another result. Are you okay with your sports team going to the White House with Donald Trump after the championship win? Tie ball game, 50-50. And when the polls close out in a day, I'll give you guys the actual factuals on everything that's transpired. I think that's the only two we've done today. Yeah, it looks like those are the only two that we've done today. All right. Now, we got to move on to a story that I wasn't going to talk about. And this is the One Mic with Big Mike show here, Spreaker.com, the Spreaker app, and for right now on the website, onemicwithbigmike.com. Aaron Rodgers. A lot of talk about Aaron Rodgers today on the show. And why not, right? Aaron Rodgers is a monster at the quarterback position. I can't think to myself a guy who plays the quarterback at that level and does that many things when he has the football in his hand. And I'm thinking hard, too. I'm thinking about a lot of guys who played the position of quarterback, and to do it with a lot of sustainability. Like, he's got a couple MVPs under his belt, Super Bowl champion. But all season long, even especially when he was struggling, when the team was struggling, there was this conversation surrounding his relationship with his family. You guys remember his brother was on one of those reality shows where they pick a bride and they showed him at some holiday, maybe Thanksgiving or so, dinner with the chick, and like, you know, they got to make it extra dramatic for the TV. They have this dinner table, and they got like 2 places set, like for Aaron Rodgers and his fine ass woman, Olivia Munn. Olivia Munn is his woman, right? The other girl is Olivia Wilde. Olivia Munn is his woman, and like to accentuate the fact that he's not there with his family. So now, you know, the season is over with pretty much, and everybody is back on this because the New York Times got an interview with his dad, which is like, well, I think that's bad pool. That's kind of foul business, man. His dad did an interview with the New York Times, and he kind of described it as therapeutic. It's like, come on, B. It's like it feels so good to get it all out to the press, cuz like that's a petty move. You doing that to try to affect this dude. There are no details. Like they asked Aaron Rodgers about it. He said, "Look, man, that ain't for me to talk about. I'm here to talk about football stuff. Leave my personal business out of here." And you know, I agree with him. I don't care if Aaron Rodgers is talking to his mom and his dad and his brother. I don't care. You know, can you throw touchdowns? Can you amaze me like you did on Sunday? All right. I'm signing up for that. Don't care about your personal situation. You know, there's a rumor a couple of years ago that Aaron Rodgers was gay. I don't care. Nope. Can he be gay and do that on the football? Okay. That's what I need to know. And I'm good. So anyway, Renee hit me earlier. This is like becoming a segment too. Things Renee said to me. Renee hit me on the text message today and said to me, she was asking me about whether I was aware of what was going on with Aaron Rodgers, right? And she couldn't fathom him not talking to his mom, of all people. You know, she was understandable with his dad not getting any conversation, his brother, but his mom. And my comment to her was that, well, I pointed out to her that Tyron Smith, the guy who was playing left tackle last night in that same game, in his first year in the league, he took out a restraining order against his parents because they just wouldn't leave him alone. Like he gave them their money and they blew it and they kept coming back. And he was like, no. And at one point, I think they was like trying to bang down his door to get his money. And then, you know, as you know, a guy who want to keep his loot, understanding that, shout out to my man Troupe Talk, you know, a guy who told me a while ago that these dudes are trying to make all the money they can make by the time they like 26, 27 years old in life. You know what I mean? The most money they're going to ever make is going to be in this span of time. So to continually give it away as though it's coming out of a faucet, we all have had we've seen the 30 for 30, the broke and all that kind of stuff, right? So I say to Renee, we as regular people don't know the lives these guys are living. So of course, Renee being Renee, well, I do. I got family members with money, and then I got people that always hit me up for money. Because that's what I'm talking about. Nah, of course we don't know their lives. Here's the thing, though. No matter who you are, whether you're Renee or anybody else, you got family members that hitting you up for money. The thing that you're not, or the thing that doesn't happen to you, is when you get paid, or when you sign your contract, or whatever you do for a living, the whole world doesn't know. Like, I can go to Spotrac.com right now and find out exactly what Aaron Rodgers' contract is. Like how much money he got guaranteed, what kind of bonuses he got attached to it, how the money is deviated through the life of his career. So we don't know. We don't know what that life is. Most of us don't know what that life is. No matter how many similarities you think you can draw to it, the fact of the matter is these guys are in a position where sometimes people are well, I'm not quoting you, and I would say quote. I'm not quoting you, but you did say that I have family members with money, and you also said that you got people that hit you up all the time because they think you got it that way. And I'm saying that's a different ball game. You know, it's a totally different ball game. We got guys, like some of these guys were, in some cases, raised to take care of not 2 people, their entire family. That's not what I said. As though it's not in writing. All right, Renee, we're not going to get into semantics. The concept is still the same, that we do not know. We as normal people don't know what Aaron, and I don't know that it's about money. But you guys listen to this show, I've told you guys many times and not, no one's exempt. No one is exempt. Like That dude is doing a job in where I believe he has to be laser focused. And when you look at the greats in sports, the Tiger Woods is the Kobe Bryants, the Michael Jordans, there is a lot of a-hole in them and guys who have to be selfish. Kobe Bryant has a documentary that it aired first on Showtime, and I think the NBA TV picked it up a couple times, in which he talked about, like, I knew I wasn't going to be a good friend. I wasn't going to be a good husband. I wasn't going to be a good dad, because every waking moment and every part of me was dedicated to the greatness that I wanted to achieve. And in certain situations, you see the difference. That's why when I look at and I talk to you guys about LeBron James, that's why I always say it's not just amazing that this dude is that big, that strong, that fast, that skilled, but he juggles a lot to maintain that level of greatness. He juggles a lot. Family, he seems to be a pretty decent family man. He got his businesses. He's dealing with being the leader, not just of the team. Don't get that twisted. He's the leader of the NBA. He's the face of an entire league and quite possibly a generation. I saw the other day he made a deal. The deal with Nike that he's on is one in which they're going to also release his retro sneaker the way they do Michael Jordan's stuff. That's a big look, man. So when you start talking about dudes who are at the level of guys like Aaron Rodgers, all the things that people feel like, I don't know this because I'm definitely have never been at that level, but I feel like in observing people that anybody who's going to take away from my opportunity to be absolutely great, they don't need to be around. And I've said this just in my life, period. There's two types of people in the world. You know, well, there's cool and ain't crap, but the other two people are people who are adding to my situation and taking away. There is no middle ground in that situation. You're either adding to what I'm doing or who I am as a human being, or you're taking away from that. And I can only assume it's that to the 1000th degree for guys like Aaron Rodgers and Kobe and Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods and people who've amazed us throughout the history of sports. What time I got? I got 3 minutes left. Damn it. Do I have anything that's going to take me another 3 minutes, or am I just about to hit this damn music and get the hell out of here? Oh, by the way, Falcons fans, Adrian Claiborne's out with it's either torn biceps or triceps, so that's going to affect your depth along that defensive line. Julio Jones is going to be limited at practice, but I don't see a situation. Dan Quinn said he doesn't see a situation where the homie, he misses any games. Jim Irsay, drunk-ass, pill-popping owner of the Indianapolis Colts, apparently wanted to do some sort of package deal with John Gruden as coach and Peyton Manning as, I don't know, his GM or the president of the team or something of that nature. Well, he lost out on Gruden. Gruden told Adam Schefter that I ain't no coach no more because I'm a broadcaster. But Peyton Manning's still out there, so we'll see if Peyton Manning's all healed up from Jim Irsay, crapping on him and sending him on his way when he broke his neck 50 million times. All right, so that's going to do it for tonight's show. I'm about to go watch the rest of the second half here. Cleveland's losing right now to Golden State. It's like 42-58. So I didn't even set the DVR. Damn me, man. Anyway, I'll see the rest of it. They'll probably replay it on NBA TV or something. If it's a good game, I'll rewatch it. So appreciate you, Ben Troupe, my man, who joins me every Monday at 7:30 for Troupe Talk. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram at BenTroupe 84. My new friend of the show, Kindred Spirits. Oh yes, Will Leitch. Make sure you guys are following him at William F Leitch on Twitter and Instagram. I'm going to actually post that interview with him. The stuff about the fan stuff is like right up my alley. So shout out to him for that. I appreciate you, Big L, Renee, everybody who listens to the show on demand. I appreciate you guys as well. I'll come back on Wednesday, Hump Day. It's also Women Crush Wednesday, so I'll dedicate a little bit of time to, discovering another young lady to become our, I was going to say Sports Kings, our One Mic with Big Mike, Women Crush Wednesday for this Wednesday. So until then, man, y'all enjoy the rest of your MLK Day. Be safe out there, hold your man down, and understand the countdown has begun. By this time on Friday, Whoever or whatever you believe in, ask them to save us, because we gonna definitely damn need it. Y'all take care, man.